Welcome to Positive Spin Songs. This is my company that I pitch stuff to TV and film and advertising and gaming. And the main focus here at Positive Spin Songs is to create songs for sync, produce them, and pitch them. It's my only focus with this company. And so I thought after I talked last week, and if you haven't seen that video, you can go to the video from last week called Sync with Me, and where I was inviting you to come take a look at what I was doing with my sync work with other composers and things. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about what I do for clients and artists, and I did make a video about this. But I thought today what I would do is just kind of go through it right here with you, go through the PowerPoint with you and kind of show you. And by the way, if you like this teaching, this is the way I teach my courses on sync licensing, on the stock licensing and the stock market. And we're actually having our first class today on the Getting in Sync class, and Mastermind starts today at 1 o'clock. So those of you who are coming to that, we will start directly after this. You'll get a link. But today, my main focus is talking about how I work with people who are partners with me at Positive Spin Songs. And there is a change that's not a coming. You know, I've been talking about a change a coming for a while. But, folks, that change is here. And Positive Spin Songs is the main thing that I do as far as write songs, compose songs, and then pitch them to music libraries, music supervisors. I'll talk about all of that in this presentation. So you want to get comfy. You want to get you a lovely cup of tea or coffee, a warm beverage, because you know what? There's nothing in the world quite like a warm beverage. All right. So let's get going with this. And, you know, I started this company about 7 years ago. And in the past few years, I have been offering my composing and arranging and production services, as well as pitching to and with my clients and to clients that are music libraries or supervisors or sync agents and things like that. And many of my clients that I used to only produce with my record label have now come over and become partners in trying to make great sync licensing type music that gets into libraries. And we've had many hundreds of songs be accepted into libraries. And that is now my main job. Producing was my main job for 25 years. Now my main job is creating music every day, working with other co-writers to produce music every day, and partners who are partnering in the development of those songs. And I am now offering this to certain composers, producers, songwriters, and artists, as well as investors, just music interested parties, as a service and as a partnership. And so producing with you and partnering with you to build a life licensing music. I was just talking to someone on Zoom, and we were having a great conversation about, you know, we used to dream of this. We used to dream about writing music and then putting it out there and it bringing back some income to us, it getting used in the world. But we didn't really want to get on stage. We really didn't want to go do gigs. We were lazy. But what we were songwriters. What we were composers. We wanted to make music that got out into the world and did stuff. And give me a thumbs up if that is you, because it's me. And that is what we really wanted to do. We wanted to create music and have a life of just creating music and have it being used and having it bring back money. We wanted a magic music life, is what we wanted. And guess what? Licensing kind of is that. You are making music, you are putting it out into the world, and you are getting income back from it through the use on television, through the use in film and advertising and in gaming and different things like that. So this is the life I want to live. This is the only life I want to live. I want to spend my days waking up to a beautiful blue sky and writing songs and working with partners on songs and producing them and pitching them out and getting them out. Next album, put it out. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the how. We're going to talk about if you are someone who has struggled with any of these things and you need someone to help you, you might want to be part of this program. I can't work with a great load of people. That's why the information on this is not public. I don't just have a page that everybody can go to read about it, because I can't afford the time, and likely not everyone is going to be right for this program. So what I want to do today is talk about the reason why you might need a producer. And I hear you. You're saying, how in the world can I don't know if I can afford a producer. Do I need a co-writer or a co-producer? And what would someone like that even do for me? And so I know you may have these questions. And so first of all, I think the very first part is songwriters and composers who need better quality. I think a lot of people are coming to me with songs. I see a couple of things that are problems with people. And one of the first problems people who want to get into sync have is that they just are not able to produce with quality yet. And so that's what I do. That's one thing that I really work on is trying to help people who need better quality get there. They can work with me by sending me what they've started, and then we can work together to make that better. I have people who do not even play any instruments that I produce, and they just send me songs in their head. They just literally will send me a vocal, and I will make something out of it. I talked to Lewis Moore today, who is in the building today, so thanks for being here, Lewis Moore. And Lewis Moore even said, I have a song I'd like you to help me with, but I've only sung it. And believe it or not, I get that a lot. And sometimes I get a lot of co-writers who only write, maybe they just kind of are amateur writers, or I should say non-professional player singers, but that yet they have really, really great ideas for songs, and then I produce them up from that. Some people are past that. They've started into their DAW. They've started working with their DAW, and they know what they need to do, but they can't get there because they just don't have the experience yet. And so I will help them get that to the next level, and or their songs to the next level. Maybe they need a better vocal, a better chord progression, certainly better production a lot of times, and quality finish. And so that is one of the things that this service is for, and one of the things that I do as a producer for people. Second one is producers who need quantity. This is most likely the biggest issue for people. People can make music, but they don't have much time to make a lot of it, or they can start a lot of things and they can't finish a lot of things. They have trouble staying on task. They have trouble without any kind of partner to know what the best thing for them to be doing and how to be spending their time. And so this is what I do for people. I help them. I help them get going. I just saw a comment from Bradford who said, "This sounds like news to me." It is news. Something new is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Positive Spin Partners. I can't find, where's the news name? I can't find, oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. This is for you, Bradford. I hope you enjoy it. Your face is blocking the words. Your face is blocking the words. All right, fine. I'll make my face smaller if that makes you happy. So producers and songwriters and composers who need quantity, they can write a song or two or three or five, but they know they need to be doing more. And so I will help them with really walking alongside of them. Sometimes that requires other things that we'll talk about in a minute. A gentle prodding, we could say, but it needs somebody who is in charge of this, a chief who is making sure everything is happening and who is putting this thing together and saying, hey, we want to make a 7 to 10 song album this month. Let's get on it. What has to happen this week? And so a lot of that is what I do. And then sometimes I am helping them literally finish it. Either I'm doing it or we've got some other, some people helping us. The third one, I think, is the third type of person that I can really help the most is sync-focused artists who really only sing, or they only play an instrument. And this is great. I'm happy with people like this because this is something that lets me have full creative control over the track, which is, and the song, really. I can help people. I can write songs for people. I can use them as the talent, or we could work together towards the type of song that they want, and then, or that they want to play on. I'm working with a cellist right now, and we are planning to do a lot of productions where I'm going to be doing all the production work and she will be doing all the cello work. And so, and yet we will split it 50-50 because we talked and came up with the idea for the album together, and then we put it out. We produced it. Her only job is to play cello and send me back all the cello parts so I can mix it into what I'm doing, whether it's just piano and cello, or if it's orchestral stuff and cello, or if it's pop and cello. Who knows what it could be. That's kind of my thing right over here. And so I will be doing that part, and the artist will be, or the player will be sending me their parts to put in. And we'll work similar to the way I've worked for 30 years, producing people who are artists who need someone to help them make a track, which is my jam and which is what I want to be focused all the time. And then another possibility of person that fits this really well, this Positive Spin Partners program that I'm kind of introducing right now, is investors who are interested in music, interested in being part of this. Maybe, and another kind of fifth version is someone wanting to kind of learn how to make music, learn the process of sync music production, of the songwriting and they want to work with me and watch me kind of put this whole thing together. Watch me write the songs, watch me build the songs and present the songs to them and hear what's happening, and maybe even talk with them once a week or once every other week about how they can get better. The cellist I was just talking about, I hope to do a video with her soon because her story is really cool, and she's had some success lately, and we'll talk about that. But this is someone who came to me saying, I want to record my cello, and I want to I want to do this, I want to do some covers, I want to do some originals, I want to do some public domain stuff. And she was just trying to figure out how to do it all in Logic and use Logic well. And so part of my work with her was to help her learn how to use Logic, and then learn how to record well, learn how to master and bounce and all the things that you need to come up with final tunes. She's now able to pretty much do some of the work herself, and by that work, I might have mastered some of the things for her, and done a little bit of technical work for her. But for the most part, she got 12 signings to a library because she did it all herself, and she was someone learning how to make the music. She already knew how to play the cello, of course, but how to make music with Logic, and how to learn the whole process of putting all the songs together, so then we could pitch them, or she could pitch them. So that's who these services are for. If you are already making thousands of dollars a month, or you're putting out dozens of songs per month, and you have libraries and all this, I might not be necessarily for you, unless you just need someone to kind of consult with you. And so I do charge for this, and I'm not going to talk about in this video what I charge. Some of you have already inquired about that, and we're talking about that privately, because what I charge changes. Some people will come to me, like somebody did recently, and said, hey, I just need your help doing this, and can we just do this for 6 months? And we decided on a price, and boom, there we go. As I say to my wife, Bob's your uncle. And it's pretty funny because Bob is her uncle. She has an uncle named Bob. But yeah, it also could be more. Some people could come to me and say, not only do I want you to help me make music, I want you to help me take my artist brand and blow out my Spotify and get my Spotify with thousands and tens of thousands of followers every month. I want you to help me build a website and build my social media and all that stuff. This is what I do. I would prefer to do this with people who are focused on sync rather than just artists, but this is certainly what I do and what I'm happy to help people do. And so I do charge, and it might seem high, but if it seems high to you, you've likely never worked with a professional producer before. And I'm not trying to take advantage of anyone here, but I'm putting a lot of time in. I'll get to my normal prices here in a little bit. What I'm charging people is not my normal prices that I charge to produce outright. But because I'm working with a lot of different writers, co-writers, co-producers, partners, then I can afford to give a cheaper monthly rate to people. This is not a course. This is not my course that I have out. This is not a learn how to do this for this much a month. We're doing it. I'm doing it for you. If you can't do it, I'll do it for you. If you can do it a little, I'll do it with you. If you can do it a lot, then we'll figure out what we should do as a partnership price. And it seems high until you see what I do. Because my friends, to quote a certain genie that I know, you ain't never had a friend like me. You may have known other people in your town or in your life. And those of you watching this may be like, yeah, I've worked with a guy in town. I've worked with a guy who I know, and he thought he knew everything. Or you've in local towns, and I'm from a medium to small size town, and I know what it's like to work with the authority in your town. And I'm not the ultimate authority. I'm just talking about, I'm not sure you've worked with someone who works on as many projects as I work on and who can help you in such a variety of ways that I can. And for that, all you have to do is ask my clients. But I do a lot from all the planning and weekly organization all the way, which we're going to get into here. So you ain't never had a friend like me. And so now let's talk about what I offer in this retainer that I'm talking about that I charge to work for clients. Goodbye, Jeannie. Now, a lot of you have worked with me in coaching, and you know what that means. I just spoke to someone for an hour just before this. I spoke to 4 different people yesterday in coaching. And people are looking for direction. They're looking for, how do I get started? And by the way, you can just do this by going to my website, and you'll find the link to this direction, to this coaching service below. But some people just need a one-time direction call to say, yeah, that's what I need to do. Thank you. I knew I needed something. But some people need weekly direction. Some people are just rudderless, and I've been that before. You need someone to work with you on a weekly basis, on a daily basis sometimes, to keep you focused on what's going on. You've already got a job. You've already got other things you're doing, and you've got a family, and you've got all these things. It's a lot. And you need someone to help you stay on task. You need someone to help you with the planning of things. I just talked to someone, and I've heard from dozens of you this week after the Sync with Me video last week. I've heard with literally dozens of you who say, and you'll send me your songs, and they're all over the place. There's a lot of stuff, but I didn't really see many who had, okay, here's 10 songs of this, here's 10 songs of this, here's 10 songs of this, because there's really not much planning going on. There's just a lot of dart throwing. And I would say I've been guilty of this before, but what I do now is when I come up with a song that I like, I write a circus song, and I'm like, ooh, I could do a whole album of circus songs. And so I start that. I do a piano hymns song or two, and I'm like, ooh, I could just do a whole album of this. And I've done that several times, and I'm in the middle of another one right now. So planning with people, helping people come up with the plan. What is your plan? What are we doing? What is the goal here? Is there a goal here? And that's the next thing. I got to move on because I have a 1 o'clock hard out today. I give advice. I help people figure out what they need to do. This is something that a lot of people need. A lot of people will make a lot of decisions based on what they think they know to do, but they really don't have the right ideas. Just gave it in the past hour in my last coaching call here just an hour ago. And he was like, oh, I've tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this. What should I do after that? And so I gave him some things. And he's like, whoa, I didn't even know this existed. And so that kind of stuff is a big part of what I do from an weekly advice kind of standpoint. Or somebody's come to me asking me for a song. Okay, well, here's what I would do in this situation. I need a place to show off my songs. Have you heard of disco? I need this. I need that. And I know a lot because I'm involved with a lot of things and people are involved with me. So I can help with that. And then critiquing catalog. Where's the song? Is this song where it needs to be? Is this song something that I should be doing? So this coaching part is a big part of things. And if you coach with me, you know I charge $99. You know what I charge for a coaching session. And so you can imagine if you want to do 4 of those a month, what your fee might be. All right, so let's talk about, before we go on here, let's see what people are saying, if there's any thoughts. Okay, not a lot, except for Bradford telling me that my face is blocking the word. So thanks for that helpful thing. Hey, if you're watching this and you're liking this presentation, give me a thumbs up. Let's get some other people in here because I want people to see this video and hear what's going on. All right, moving on here. There are no more questions. Let's move on. So coaching is the first set of this positive spin partners thing. This is what I do for my clients. I spend every week talking about them. But when I was talking to my cellist the other day, and she says, I've pretty much got the cover thing. I can do that by myself, and I can record it, and now I can pitch it. I know how to do that. Thank you. You've helped me do all that. What I can't do is just create a bunch of tracks because I'm a cellist. I'm not a beat maker. I'm not a track maker. And so when I started to talk to her about the producing that I do and the things I can do for people, the composing and the arranging and the co-writing, these things are things that some people can't do, especially vocalists who are just singers, cellists or solo players, or people who are writers or lyricists, or they only do one part of the song. They need a partner to do this kind of things for them. This is what I've been doing for 30 years. What is the 90s? 30 years easily. Helping people that come to me and say, I've got this song, it kind of goes like this, and can you make a track for me? And so that's a big part of what I do, the track making, the composing of the song from scratch to your specifications or to our desired outcome, whatever we're trying to make happen. Of course, keyboards and programming. This is how I've come up since the 70s even. Synthesizers in the 80s, sequencing in the 80s and 90s, and then, of course, digital music making from 2000 on. And so keyboards and programming is a big part of what I do. Maybe you're just a guitarist and you do most of your work with guitars and you do not play keys, and you need programming, and you need the song finished up. That is a big part of what I do for clients as well. Nashville players and engineers. This is a big part of what I do, offering this service, a direct line to all of my players, all of my engineers for projects that need it. Now, is this needed all the time? Not really, but when it is, it is. If we might design a whole song and it's great, and no one's playing guitar on it yet, but we know it needs great guitar. Well, we can do that, and there's a couple different ways we can employ Nashville players. We can pay them, or we can include them into the royalty structure if we want to. So we don't have to end up paying for players. We can just have players be part of the royalty distribution, and they could be partners with us. So that is another thing that I do in my production, is bring that to the table. And it's the way I have gotten a lot of albums into sync. Not all of them, not even half of them. A lot of them I do right here myself, or I work with other people to do them. But it certainly is a good thing to have when we need it. And then you might just need someone to mix and then master so that it's ready to go to sync, because you just don't feel comfortable with that. Heck, I don't feel comfortable with that. And I end up going back to my Nashville engineers and having them do my mix for me. I just had a mix done. Sometimes albums will be all approached that way, just because they are tracked in Nashville with band. They have lots of vocals things. Maybe they might have programming over that, and then we just need a master engineer to mix that, and so we do that. So that's one part of my production process. Used to be my main production process, but now with so many different kinds of genres that I do for sync, including orchestral dramedy and some solo piano. Some of those things don't require solo cello and piano. That doesn't require me to have to go outside for mixing and things like that. But some do. So this right here, this section is probably my strongest point, except I'm also very good at organization. And so being someone who can help people from a focus standpoint on a weekly basis. And speaking of that, we can then move on into the pitching of those albums. I am with 5 libraries right now. 4 are exclusive. One is with a large, with BMG, which is one of the largest libraries in the world. And so it gets a lot of searches, puts me in front of a lot of music supervisors that are looking for songs for shows. And I see that by the hundreds of placements that I've gotten from that library. But I've also got some placements from other libraries. And so I see those on my BMI checks and things like that. And the focus of this whole thing, where I'm reaching out to more of you to partner with, is to have more libraries, is to have more albums so that we can get into more libraries. Because I have big dreams. I want to get into some of the other bigger libraries as well and have lots of places. Because I plan to have so many albums that I'm pitching. Not one library is going to be able to or want to take them all. Some libraries have just, like, let's say we come out with a metal album and I pitch it to a library, goes, I just signed one of those. Or we come out with a hip hop album. He goes, oh, dude, I have so much hip hop right now. I don't need more hip hop. And so we go to another library and they may need that at that time. Dramedy. I just got a dramedy record that fits that particular thing, so I don't need that. So we go to another library that needs that. So that's a real big focus here for me. We go to sync agents. I just pitched to a sync agent last week. Several of my clients, we've been working on songs for advertising. And so I pitched 3 or 4 of those songs to a sync agent, and I'm waiting to hear back. So this is something that I'm going to be doing on a more frequent schedule as I produce more for the sync agents I run into and find out what kinds of things they are looking for and need. And then eventually have a large list of music buyers that we are sending out to directly when we come out with a new album. We will immediately, even before we pitch to libraries, we'll just send it around to different music supervisors and advertising people and people who are music buyers that are looking for songs, and they might be looking for that very thing that we put out that week. So pitching is a big part of this. It's something that I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, ooh, that's what I want. Can you just do that for me? Can you just do the pitching for me? And I know that's what you want. I'm aware. I know that's what you'd love for me to do for you full time. I don't know if that's going to be, right now that's not part of my plans, but it's a possibility. So get in touch with me. You can just find the link right below. It's a direct email to me. And let me know if you're interested. I'll show you all this information. Again, some of this information is private, and I'll send that to you privately in an email. This is not something I'm announcing it here on the channel live and for public, but I'm not really sharing the details publicly. So this is because this isn't going to work for everybody. So it's not something that I want to do just for anybody, and not everybody is going to be interested in it either. A big part of this too is weekly management, helping you. I already talked about kind of like all the consulting things I do, and that happens on a weekly basis. I am famous with my clients for what I call the Monday morning updates. And at 8 a.m. in your email box, you will receive an email from me saying, here's what we need to be doing today. Here's what we're focused on. Here's what we're trying to have happen. And so the Monday morning update is pretty crucial, I think, to us knowing what we're going to be doing that week. What songs need to be worked on? Are there songs that we need to finish? Are there songs that we're doing different things for? And so all of that is part of the Monday update. What do we have stuff to going to players? Do we have stuff going that needs to be finished? So that is part of the Monday morning update for sure, and it's something that I think you should really think about. What if every Monday morning someone's saying, hey, we need to work on this week. We need to get this finished. We need to get that song finished, and here's what's holding it up. And I found this to be a very effective kind of place that everyone, I really believe in Monday morning starts to the week being very important. And so that's what the Monday morning update is about. And what are we going to be working on that week? We're going to be talking about the weekly work we have. We're going to talk about this. Oh, I just came up with some song ideas over the weekend. Let's plan that out. How do we build that into an album? Where are we with each song and with each track? What do we have to do to get each song done? What kind of things need to be done to them? Do we need musicians? Do we need to go to our Nashville contingent of people and either pay or include them in the royalty structure? What do I need to be adding from my end or editing and tuning to get things to a finished standpoint? And then where are we with the mix and the master with this song or with these songs for this album? And then, of course, what are we doing as far as the pitching for this album we just finished? So that's a big part of what the Monday morning update is all about, is really trying to plan the weekly work, and that's how that goes. And it's really, I think, an important piece of this whole working with someone and being partners. And what good is a partner unless you are meeting with that partner every week and coming up with something? And so that's the way it's worked for me, and it's the way it's worked well for my clients. Rohan says, my song is getting over 6 million TikTok videos made, but why am I not getting any syncs? Because TikTok is not sync. Just because you're getting TikTok videos made doesn't mean that television music supervisors know about your song and know that they can use it. It's a different focus, and you have to focus your music towards those people through libraries, through sync agents, through different ways, because they're not just going to be watching TikTok and go, oh, that's a song I need. And then how are they going to get it off TikTok? Are they going to just like download it magically? So that's not going to really happen. I'm talking about doing 7 to 10 albums here, and 7 to 10 song albums, but I think we could do 7 to 10 albums a year, and you can start to extrapolate how many songs that would be. It's an album focus. I have been working for a few years with some of my partners on song focus, and they will come to me from time to time and say, I really don't see much happening. I'm like, dude, we've worked on 3 songs in 3 years. Of course nothing's happening. And even so, we've had some songs get into TV. We've had a song be almost licensed for $30,000. We've had some close things. But I really think we've got to really ramp up things. And that has been on me because of all the different things I'm doing. Even this channel, you're only seeing a video about once a week now on Fridays, this live that you're seeing right now. It's about all I can afford to do as far as time, because I am refocusing and redoubling my efforts on songs and on albums. And this is what I'm interested in doing with partners, is albums, not songs, where 7 to 10 song albums. And I think that's another mistake I'm seeing, or something where people are falling down that are sending stuff to me. The individuals who have been sent stuff, lots of good stuff, not really any focused albums that I'm like, ooh, this one's ready to go. And what do we do about that? And so how can we, as partners, put that out? I want to co-compose these, to be honest with you. I do not, even though I have a lot of people who come to me with 10-song albums and say, how can you help me pitch this? I talked about it earlier. Pitching is not my goal as far as pitching for other people. I'm not a sync agent. I'm not a library. I am a composer who wants to compose. I want to make stuff. I would much rather come up with album ideas with you, and then let's work on those together and put those out. That's my focus. And then co-produce them together. I don't mind if I have to do a lot of the producing part, a lot of the final mixing and stuff like that. That's fine. As a matter of fact, it's better, because if I'm going to be sending them to libraries and sending them to places where they could get used, then I'm going to have to be the one who has all the files and has all of that. Because if I don't have all of that, if I don't have all the files, then when the library calls and says, hey, Eric, we need all the files, then I'm going to have them. And JMO, late as usual, says free. Good one. That's awesome. So I'm going to be co-producing and probably doing the finishing work of this, because we've got to finish songs. Maybe this is another problem you have, is finishing songs. If you have problems finishing songs, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that this is one of your bugaboos, one of the things that stops you from really having the success that you want to have, is getting things done, getting them all finished. And it used to be a problem of mine years ago. But then becoming a producer for such a long time, it helped me really be a person who could get things done a little bit better. And I'm going to be even stronger at that now that I have more of my time. I'm kind of pushing the educating back to Friday and all that kind of stuff. And so it's going to be, I've done with the course now. So the course is out, you can see it and you can do it. And I'm not going to be doing anything more on that. So I've really started to find those hours of my day that I can 100% focus on songs and finish them. Finish him. Should have a video for that. And then, of course, the pitching of 7 to 10 song albums. I think this is a better pitch. Organized, 7 to 10 songs, all in the same genre, all in the same focus. And that's what's going to get accepted by libraries more. And that's what's going to serve us better. And then next, what's next? We finish it, and even as we're pitching, even before we're pitching, we should be planning the next album together and the next set of songs that we're going to work on. What are we going to work on? Let's choose the next thing, and let's get to it. And so that's my focus. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about my normal charges just real quick here, because I know that if I was to tell you that, you need to pay a certain amount a month, and a lot of programs, and I'm not a $1,000. You should not pay somebody $1,000 to help you learn how to do sync, and that's not what I'm talking about here. And I'm not charging $1,000. I'm not even charging close to that. But when I do produce people, first of all, you know, if you go to my website, or if you've ever used me for coaching before, that I charge $100 an hour almost for coaching. So if I'm talking about us getting together by Zoom 2 to 3 or 4 times a month, you can start to think, oh, $200 to $300 is what it would cost me to do that. Now, of course, I discount that for the people who pay me monthly. The other thing you need to know is that when I produce someone's song and someone comes to me to have a song produced, I charge $600 to produce that song, especially if I didn't write it or if I co-wrote it. It doesn't matter. I still charge $600 a song because that means I'm going to spend 10 to 20 hours working on that song, programming it, working on this. And of course, if I was co-programming it with someone or someone else had programmed it and sent it to me and I was only doing the mixing and mastering, however, I could likely charge $600 to mix and master a song. I'm certainly worthy of that. I've certainly been doing that for all these years. So I could charge $600 a song easily to charge someone for the mix and master of a song. I don't, but $600 a song has been my usual fee. So in theory, if we were going to do a 10-song album, I think you can extrapolate what that $600 a song would mean and has meant for when I used to produce people's albums. What am I doing as part of that producing? I've talked about that already. I'm composing, arranging, and producing. My problem is it too low? Am I charging too little for what I'm doing with for artists and for clients and in producing their songs? And am I charging too low for this program that I'm introducing? I've got a lot of emails out to people right now. I'm about to find out who can afford this and who cannot, and who thinks it's crazy and who thinks it's acceptable, if anyone thinks it's acceptable. Listen, not everybody can afford to work with everybody. Not everybody can afford certain cars. Not everybody can afford certain vacations. Not everybody can afford certain houses. It's just, and then some people can. And so it's okay. Either way, it's good. I'm going to be working with different albums with different clients, and we're going to be working at different speeds. So not everybody is required to put an album out a month or an album out every 2 months. Although we should be getting an album out every 2 months at the very latest, I think. We've got to move faster. Oh, and I know my head is in the way. I can already hear. I hear me being talked about by someone, probably Bradford right now. So if he'd get his big head out of the way. All right, so there's the bell telling me it's about time for my class. So let me finish up here what we're talking about. I'm co-working with you, and we're also outsourcing as part of things. So all of this is part of my normal charges, but as you can see by these first things, this is what I normally charge for my work. So I couldn't offer my services for $50 a month to produce your music. So that's what you need to know about my normal charges. Now, is that what I charge as part of this program? No. And if you want to find out about what I charge and you want to be part of things, then you can email me at the link below, and we'll certainly talk about that. Okay. Listen, this is the challenge. Go. Get ready to go. Are you ready to go? And it's not easy. We have to move kind of at a breakneck pace. We have to go. And I know some of you who are watching this may not be used to moving at this speed, but truthfully, I think it's what everyone needs. Someone to push the pace. So this turns into a thing that brings money and not just a hobby that doesn't bring money. And a lot of you have been asking me, I don't know how to make money in this sync thing. Well, how much do you have out there? 5 songs, 10 songs, 20 songs. We're going to need a lot more songs than that, my friends. Hundreds of songs. And so that means you're going to need someone pushing this car down the road. If you're not going to put any gas in it by yourself, or if we're going to try to make this thing go, we've got to be pushing. And that's how I've found to succeed is more quality, more quantity. And it's a big part of this. And that's what we need to succeed. We've got to have both of these things. It's how I found success, and I challenge you to join me. All right, for the last part, let me see if this is a video that I put together just today that I want you to see. That's kind of the wrap up of what I do and kind of let you see it and how it works.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Listen, I know this is a lot. I know all of this presentation is a lot. A complete PowerPoint presentation. Ta-da! This is not going to be for everyone. Just as it wasn't for every artist that came to Nashville and paid $10,000 to $15,000 to make a really high quality album so that they could market it, go out and do gigs and sell copies of it. To some, though, it was worth it. And it was a small percentage of the people that I met. I think about I used to keep records on this, and it was about 1 out of 10 people who would see the presentation would be like, I have to do this. And the others would be like, I want to, but, and then there was a thing. And that's fine. I don't want to force anybody into doing anything. But you have to ask yourself, am I producing the quality music that I need to succeed? Am I producing the quantity that it's going to take to make a sync income for my life? I talked to a guy just yesterday who is doing very well, multiple six figures in sync. And I asked him, how many songs do you have out? And he says, over 2,000. Dang, folks, that's what it takes. I have a long way to go. We all have a long way to go. And you may even hear that fact and go, I can't do this. Well, you can if you don't try. You can't if you don't start cranking out the music that I'm going to start cranking out. So I want you to join me. I want this to be a lifelong income for me, a lifelong passive income. I wonder all the time, am I investing in the right places? Am I investing my time in the right places? And to me, this just seems like the best investment of my time because I can also release it to Spotify and all the streaming markets. I can also release it, certain kinds of music as sheet music. I can do lots of different things with it. But I just feel like that sync continues to be a very strong place to focus for a long-term career. It has to be long-term, and you have to think of it that way. Either way, let me know your thoughts. We might work out another solution or a price that works better for you. Maybe you want to do a one-off album, and I can give you a price on that. Maybe you just want some coaching. We can certainly do that. Or maybe you need knowledge and help getting into sync. And as you might know, or maybe you don't know, I have a course called Getting in Sync. You can look at that. That's fairly inexpensive to get all the information you need to know to get moving forward in sync. But this is really more about production of sync music, and a lot of it. There are people that I will work with that we will be working on 50 to 100 songs a year. And this is normal for me, but my goal is to crank that up. I've said since the beginning of this year, I want to get 500 songs out. And the way I can do that is to find partners like you to help me put these songs together. But if you are ready to get serious about sync and produce albums weekly with me, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Join me.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy.
Are you ready? Well, I hope to hear from you. See you soon. Okay, so there you go. That's the final word today in what I do for clients and what I am looking for and the people I'm looking for. And if you are interested in talking with me in any way about how to get going with your music, and find a partner in making music, and you want the full information, well, email me at the link below. There's a link, an email link, eric@makemusicincome.com. Just email me and we'll start a conversation. It's private and it's not for everyone, but if I think that you've got the music that I can help with, or I can help you in some way, I'll send you more information that has a lot of what I've been talking about and all the kinds of stuff that I do for people. And it lists a lot of the stuff we've been talking about in this video already, but probably a little bit more organized and faster for you to get through and really learn. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for everybody for being here. We'll talk to you soon. I got to run off and teach the first Getting in Sync next cohort class and mastermind. So we will see everybody who's part of that in that Zoom. I'll be sending that Zoom link out in 1 minute. So we'll see you all very soon, whoever's in that. Otherwise, everybody, thanks so much for being here and watching all this and listening to me ramble for an hour. And we'll see you next week. And I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you. Bye-bye.